Hello, everyone. Camille Armstrong here of Better Parent, Better Future. All right, so I recently was talking about passing on generational parenting habits, and this is a story of mine that I want to share that really speaks to that. It speaks to the daily movie. It speaks to what we say to our children over and over again. And because we're saying it over and over again, or because we're playing that music over and over again, or because we're playing the same videos or movies or shows over and over again, we are programming our children. Sometimes it's not beneficial for their future. Think back at a time, a moment that you realized, oh gosh, I only do this because my mom said this to me all the time. Or I only did this because my dad did this when I was a kid. Goodness, what? I don't even have to do this anymore. Right? Think about that. This story speaks to that. I was all over the place, boing, 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 just always interested in a lot of different things all at once. My mother used to have she used to ask my sisters to water her plants. And I was like, I'll water your plants. So she's like, no, thank you. This one will water my plants. You water my plants. You are not watering my plants. And I was like, oh God, why? I never asked her why. I just thought, because, and that was also at the time where they had this, I think, a commercial the company was called Lawn Doctor, and they talked about having the green thumb, and I was like, maybe I don't have a green thumb. So I assumed, instead of finding out why my mom said, no, thank you, you don't water my plants, anybody else but you. Maybe she didn't say in that so many words, but she would just ask any of my other sisters to water the plants, but not me. So I automatically assumed that I just didn't have a green thumb. So when I was given a plant, I would fail miserably at taking care of the plant. If I planted a seed, I just neglected the plant and never watered it, or, it never went well for me, because subconsciously I'm thinking I don't have a green thumb. It wasn't until one of my children was taking a science class, or he was doing science, a science lesson, and he was learning the life cycle of a plant. And it started off as a seed, and he was learning the basic principles of a seed, just basic principles. And I'm, learning alongside him, just going, really? Is it that easy? Goodness. And so I got one plant and I took care of it. And I was like, well, that wasn't difficult. It wasn't okay. And then one plant became 2 plants, and 2 plants became 5 and 10 plants. And now my house is a jungle with all different kinds of species of plants. And I have an outdoor garden, and I have flower pots outside on my porch. The fact is, it wasn't that I didn't have a green thumb. It wasn't that. I just needed the knowledge and I just needed the knowledge and the understanding of how to take care of a plant. I needed to know those principles. And I guess I needed to know the why. And the why was that I was bouncy. So if I had some water and my focus was one plant, and then I turned my focus to something else like I normally did, I was at the risk of spilling water, knocking plants over, a disaster. And I was clumsy because of that reason, because my brain was just always all over the place all the time. So now I understand why. It wasn't that I didn't have a green thumb. Sometimes as parents, Like, how many times have your parents told you not to do something, but didn't explain to you why? I was always that kid. Like, if I knew why, then I would, oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. I won't do it then. But if you don't tell me why, it's either something's wrong with me or something is wrong with the system and you're against me. Either way, it is the path of least resistance is tell your child the why. And that will make so much sense to them. They would understand, and then they won't take on a label that is not necessarily meant to be put on them. I put on that I don't have a green thumb, and for years I told myself that and failed at plants, and it's quite the opposite. I really just had to find out the information and apply the information. It's the same thing in life. Once we find out the information, we change our perception, and now we can use that information and apply it to our lives. We can make mindset shifts that way. That's my value for today. See you next time.